Cool. Can I kick off by just asking how you got involved with the project, and did you watch the original Tron when you were a kid growing up? And
I did. I saw my first experience with Tron was probably seeing it, I think, on VHS tape in the mid-'80s, which is a really crappy format. So the presentation probably wasn't up to spec, but despite that, I could tell that this movie looked like nothing else out there, and that's what I remember is just the uniqueness of Steven's vision.
Jumping off from there, how has it been having Steven around and on board as a
It's
to
great. It's obviously great to have the creator of the entire story, kind of on the project. And it was really important to me, and I know it was important to Jeff and Bruce as well to have Steven attached to the project as a producer. So it was great. He called himself kind of the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the sage with the kind of overarching advice, having been through a Tron movie himself. So it was great.
did you feel overwhelmed with this responsibility that you've taken on? Because it's obviously a cult following for the film and a massive fan base, but...
Yeah, it's kind of grown over the course of the project. I feel like when I first signed on to it, maybe I wasn't aware, I don't think anyone was aware of the fan base you're talking about. It was kind of, they were sitting in a dormant state, I think. Obviously there are the diehard fans who have kept the faith, but it was I think surprised the studio a little bit when we showed that test piece I did at Comic-Con a couple years ago, just how that one screening we did of it kind of spread around the world and ignited these Tron fans. So it was an important part of getting this movie made, was that fan support.
And did you feel overwhelmed with it? Like, was it quite a big responsibility on your shoulders, and were you worried about messing it up?
Well, yeah, I think every director feels pressure. I mean, if you're not feeling pressure, then you're probably doing something wrong. So yeah, I knew that the first film, it had set the bar high on a visual and conceptual level, and we knew that if we were going to do this, we had to push the envelope in so many different ways. And we wanted to push it in terms of story as well. We wanted to tell a story that couldn't be told until now, and we wanted to make sure that the technology and the visuals supported that story above all else.
Having worked on spots for Gears of War and Halo, and how much does kind of modern video game culture and visuals come into working on Tron? Is there any element of that
I think just working on those projects, the technology involved with making those spots obviously played into how some of the techniques we used on this film. So just having that experience of making those commercials played into how to make the film. I think stylistically there's probably an influence from video game in terms of kind of where I put the camera in some shots and how they're shot that feel kind of like a second person over the shoulder kind of gaming point of view, which I used a couple times, which seemed appropriate.
Do you think that perspective, young people having spent so much time now playing first person shooters and stuff, is that affecting the way people direct films now?
I think so. I think there's. I think you can see in kind of some people's style a kind of video game or kind of first-person point of view. I think on this movie, I think my approach, because of the film or the camera technology we were using, which is a true 3D movie shot with f/35s and master prime lenses, which are big cameras with big lenses. The film camera itself was this kind of unwieldy 150-pound thing. So my approach in shooting the movie is a little bit more like what I would imagine shooting 70mm was like, which is probably a more classic style filming, just because of the nature of the technology we're using. But I also think for a 3D movie it kind of fit it to let scenes play out in master shots a little bit longer rather than being handheld